So I'm Juliana, and we've talked before on my blog. If you haven't, then I'm Juliana Rios. I'm a third year Slippery Rock University student. Today I kind of want to talk about, will the equity gap ever be closed? So kind of my background and my experience with it is that I have never really heard of or really thought about the equity gender pay gap until I was in college, and most recently within the past year. And I think identifying as a Latino and a Latina on campus, it becomes extremely difficult to absorb some of the content because Hispanic and Latinos are some of the most underpaid, statistically one of the most underpaid minority groups in the United States. I haven't seen the direct effects of this equity pay gap, and I think that's why I've never been cut with the forefront of it. But because I do work with minority groups, whether that being a waitress or working for a job on campus, I interact with a lot of people on a daily basis, and for me, I see it as there's a lack of opportunity for people who fall in the minority groups just because of societal structural beings, and not necessarily because they are Black or they are Latino or they are a mom. I think talking to my mom about it about a year ago, I asked her hey, do you think this is a real thing? Because it is a very controversial subject. And she said, yes, it is a real thing. And not because my mom is Latino or is Hispanic or is whatever she chooses to identify as, but because she is a mom and she had to be a full-time mom while trying to be a full-time employee, and therefore that may have lost her opportunities to move up the scale, to gain a higher position faster. And that's just one of the intersections of being a mom and being a woman. And there are many other components of life that contribute to that. And the article that I talk about in this blog post talks about whether that be age, whether that be gender, whether that be gender norms, whether that be race or education. All of these components come into play into the equity gender gap. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, do I think it will be closed? I hope so. And from the statistics that I presented in this blog post, it will, maybe in our lifetime. And so that's exciting, and you have to stay optimistic and realize that we are making strides towards that, and noticing those discrepancies within our society. And our society is changing so fast at a rapid pace that I think it's possible, but there is a lot of work to be done, and there is a lot of roles that we don't know if will ever diminish. We don't know if women will not be considered held in the mother position or not, or if we give minority groups more opportunities. I think that is going to bring its own challenges. And so I optimistically think that the equity pay gap will close eventually, but I don't know how long, and I don't know when. All I know is that I, as a student going into the workforce and a contributing society member, is that I can do everything in my power to present my best self, to present these issues to close the gap on my own, in my own way. Not single-handedly, of course, but in my own life, and giving people opportunities after I have opportunities, and to recognize and notice the unequal parts of society, and try to be an active member and being an advocate for those things. So yeah, thank you for tuning in to my blog and listening to my point of view, and have a great day.